Welcome back, all you movie lovers and film buffs. It is time for another Breadsticks take, and today I've got something that's kind of close to my heart. I think you're going to dig it. It's a movie called Mr. Harrigan's Phone. And the reason this one's kind of close to my heart, because something you might not know about Breadstick, I'm a big Stephen King fan. And Mr. Harrigan's Phone was originally a Stephen King short story. And it was great when I read it a few years back. And I was really excited to see this came out on Netflix. I was really excited to watch it. So Mr. Harrigan's Phone, what's it about? It's about this young boy who basically kind of befriends an older guy. He's an older guy, he's rich, he can't see very well anymore, and he hires this kid to come over and read to him 3 times a week. So he does this for several years. He comes over and he reads to this old fellow 3 times a week, and over the course of that time, they kind of become friends. Well, Mr. Harrigan dies, and at the service, this young fellow puts a phone in Mr. Harrigan's pocket. Okay, his name's Craig. I'm not going to ruin the whole movie for you, but he puts a phone in Mr. Harrigan's pocket. And when Craig is feeling down or Craig is feeling troubled by life, he calls. He calls the phone and he just cuts loose. He talks to his old friend, Mr. Harrigan, about life, about what's happening, what's bothering him. Well, in true Stephen King fashion, Mr. Harrigan starts responding to those phone calls. I won't say any more. I don't want to ruin it for you. I don't want to ruin what's going on. But it's definitely a supernatural thriller, and it is fabulous. You should check it out. Okay, it's on Netflix. Let's get into what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie. Now, what I didn't like about the movie. You guys know, if you've read a book, if you've ever read a book and they made a movie out of it, the movie's never quite as good as your imagination. And that holds true here. I think that's true in this story. So it's a bit of a slow starter. That was what I didn't like about it. I think if you didn't know anything about the movie, you might struggle to kind of get to the point where the movie hooks you, right? We live in that world of instant gratification, and we want that hook. We want that hook in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and you don't really get it here. If you hadn't already read the story, if I hadn't already known what was going to happen, I might have struggled to get to the point where I was like, oh yeah, this is getting good. But I already knew, so I was ready. So hopefully this review could help you guys make it through that first bit of that movie, get through the slow start, and get into the action. And what I love about the movie, I love the fact that they really made it feel like a Stephen King book. There wasn't a ton of gore, there wasn't any kind of grossness or any kind of stuff that we label horror these days. It's not really horror, it's just gross, right? It's gore, it's gross. That's what it is, it's not horror. This was a true horror flick. You don't ever really see the monster. It's the suspense. It's the edge of your seat kind of ride. And that's what I love. That's what I want in my horror, and that's what I loved about this movie. I thought they did a great job. When they finally got to that point, they really put you on the edge of your seat, and you're just like, oh man, he's communicating with a dead guy. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it felt like. That's what I loved about the movie. So, let me give it some breadsticks. You know what it's about. You know what I didn't like. You know what I did like. Here's the breadsticks. I'm going to give it a solid 4, okay? And most of the movies I rate tend to range between the 2 to 4 range, okay? I'm a movie lover. There's not very many movies I'm going to watch. I'm going to just be like, look, this was just, it was terrible, okay? Don't watch it. But there's not going to be very many movies where I watch it and I'm like, yeah, this was a 5. This was a classic. This was not a classic. It for sure was not a classic. But it was a solid adaptation of a great story written by Stephen King several years ago. And if you're into horror and you're into Stephen King, check it out. You won't be disappointed. This was definitely my flavor. It's not a super long movie. I think it's about an hour and a half, which felt perfect as far as length. And it told a great, fun story that I think everybody can kind of get behind. Everybody can enjoy this kind of horror movie. That was my take on Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Streaming on Netflix. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. If, Kenny G, if I died and you put a phone in my pocket, and then you called me,
yeah,
and I answered, what would you think?
I think I need to get a shovel and get out there.
Did me back up?
Yeah.
Could you be friends with me if I was like undead, if I was like a zombie?
Yeah, it'd be like an Encino Man situation. I'd thaw you out.
Yeah.
Put clothes on you.
But he was a caveman, not a zombie.
Oh. It'd be like rip your teeth out of your mouth, cut your arms off. Then we'd be buddies.
On that note, Mr. Harrigan's Phone, 4 breadsticks. Check it out. You'll love it.